I'm totally creeping your Instagram right now. I love this
Scroll
one.
away.
I love that. So Andy Warhol. This one's fantastic.
Ah, thank you.
I'll be stinking rich.
He's going to London.
London. London. I'm getting out of here. I'll be staying at 23 Piss Off Avenue, London, W.
Can I just tell you, I don't think, first of all, this is so unbelievable. Like, I watched we binged, my husband and I binged this show, bawling our eyes out, fell in love with you, and then I get to talk to you. Wow, that is so cool.
I mean, it's also like this is also mutual because like we didn't expect to like just suddenly be like have the show like just sort of like flying everywhere globally. So like this is amazing, like that everyone's just like loving the show.
I can't think of, for the life of me, a show that is more important than this show.
Yeah, you're so right. And I mean, you know, I understand that kind of from the perspective of people who have like a direct sort of like experience of like living through that time. So, you know, that's why it's important. I mean, it's important to me because like we always long for these stories like to be told, and especially when it's, you know, for people who don't get to be heard that often, it definitely feels like that with this show. But like, you know, it just feels really important to just sort of like do the community proud and to just, you know, really kind of like be there for them, like in this moment of making this show and everything that it stands for.
Did your DMs just incredibly just blow up from people who lived this time, who thanked you for shining a light and doing it so incredibly well?
The messages have been like really they've just been huge, and so much scope in terms of like what they've covered. Like people have been just really open to just sort of like sharing kind of like really personal things about their story and as to like why they connected so much with the show. And then kind of more specifically, like I've sort of seen things about how like they really sort of like connected to Roscoe as a character and sort of like what he represents. And someone showed me a Twitter thread the other day of a guy from Brighton, I think, whose uncle very much has like a really similar aesthetic to Roscoe. He put up these pictures of him, and he's got dreadlocks and he's wears makeup, and the whole aesthetic is just completely amazing and fabulous. And he was basically saying that, you know, his uncle became estranged from his family, and watching the show allowed him to reconnect with his uncle.
Can you watch this and enjoy it as much as we are? Who did you watch it with? Who did you watch it with?
The very first time I watched it,
mm-hmm.
I watched it on my own. And I think I was being quite protective of that. I actually remember being at home with my laptop with the sort of like secret links to the show that the producers had sent to us. And my mom came in the room and I was like, no. I was like, you can't see this. Just sort of like being like kind of half elated that we're seeing the show, and then also half crying because I'm just like, oh my God, I'm on a screen for the first time. What the hell is going on? But no, I definitely sort of feel like I've come full circle in being able to sort of like enjoy that experience fully. I think, you know, I always knew that the show was amazing, but I think I've definitely am in a different place where I can just sit and enjoy the show for the show itself.